Okay, this is the second problem that we did last week, and I want to review that. This is on a cube that has been submerged into paint. It's all of its outside has been painted, and then that cube has been divided into smaller cubes. So let me show you a picture of what I'm talking about. If you've ever heard of a Rubik's Cube, something like this is what I'm talking about. All the outside surfaces have been painted, and each one of these cubes have been divided into smaller cubes, so that there are, on this one, it's a 4 by 4 by 4. So there are 64 little cubes here. And you can see, like, this particular cube right here that I'm talking about, it has 3 sides painted, whereas this one only has 2. This one only has 2. These in here only have 1, and there's some in the middle that haven't been painted at all. So some sides have been painted. Some cubes have 3 sides painted, some have 2, some have 1, some have 0 sides painted. And so we're looking for patterns to figure this stuff out. And now the way to do this is to look at smaller cubes and then work our way up. So let me go ahead and share my screen here, and you can see what I'm talking about. Let me get this going on here. So hopefully you can see this up here. And so I'm going to start off with, you could start off with a 1 by 1 cube, which is just 1 cube. And on 1 cube, all the sides have been painted. So that doesn't really help too much. So we're going to jump it up to a 2 by 2 cube. And here's a picture of a 2 by 2 cube. It's 2 across, 2 in depth, and 2 in height. So 2 times 2 times 2 gives us a total of 8 small cubes right here. Now, keeping track of how many sides have been painted 3, 2, 1, or 0 times, this cube right here, just looking at it, there are 3 sides that would be painted: the top, the one facing us, and the side to the right. So this cube has 3 sides painted. So does the one on the left-hand side. This has 3 sides painted. So does the bottom. So does the bottom right in the front. And so do all the ones in the back. So all the sides have 3 sides painted. All cubes have 3 sides painted. There are no cubes with 2 sides, 1 side, or 0 sides painted. All of them have 3 sides painted. I'll see if I can find a better picture of that. Okay, I think we're recording. And so I just put in an image of a 2 by 2 by 2 cube, and you can see, like, this side here has 3 sides painted: green, blue, red. This one does too. There's a back side here. This one does, the bottom, all the bottom. So every side of a 2 by 2 by 2 has 3 sides painted. Gets more interesting as you go up in size. So if we go up to a 3 by 3 by 3 cube, you can see we have that. That gives us a total of 27 cubes. Now I'm going to try to keep track of how many sides have been painted on this. So let me pause this again to get my picture a little bit. Okay, so here is a picture of that in terms of the number of sides painted for each cube. So we can see up here, the corner is red, blue, and yellow. This corner right here. Well, so this one has 3 sides painted, and then this one up here has 3 sides painted. Every corner has 3 sides painted. Now, how many corners are there? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the top, and on the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's a total of 8 cubes that have 3 sides painted on this 3 by 3 by 3. Now, how about how many have 2 sides painted? We're looking for 2 sides painted. If you look at the one here that's colored, you see that this one right here is blue and red. So this one has 2 sides painted. It's the one that's the middle. It's in the middle here on the top row. Blue and red, 2 sides painted. This one, 2 sides painted, yellow and red. And the back, it would be 2 sides painted, yellow and red. And right here, 2 sides painted, whatever the left color is, in red right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. But also you have going around on the side. So I tell you what, let's just count up how many blue ones. Let's just count up how many blue ones have 2 sides painted. So that would be this one right here, which is the middle. This one right here, which is the middle of this column. This one here, which is the middle of this column. And this one right here, the middle of this column. So 1, 2, 3, 4 right here on this side has 2 sides painted. I have the 2 down here, meaning that this one has 2 sides painted. So this one has 2 sides painted, this one has 2 sides painted, this one has 2 sides painted, and this one has 2 sides painted. But there's more than that. Let's go over to the side. We can see that this one would have 2 sides painted. This one has 2 sides painted. This one has 2 sides painted. Now, why didn't I put a 2 there? Because this side is part of this cube. So I don't want to put another 2 there because this cube's already been counted. So if we count up, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. On the left side, it'd be 8, 9, 10. And then on the back, 11, 12. So we have 12 sides, 12 cubes that have 2 sides painted. Counting them up again here on this cube, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then on the back side, another 3, 8, 9, 10. And then over here, we'd only have the top and bottom, which would be 11, 12. It's hard to do that without a physical thing. And I'll show you that when we get up to a 4 by 4. I don't have a 3 by 3 yet. So there are 12 cubes that have 2 sides painted. Now remember, we know what the total number of cubes are. It's 3 times 3 times 3, or 3 cubed, which is 27. So this is one of the hardest ones to do, 2 sides painted. So if you don't know this one, you can get the other ones and subtract it from 27. So let's get the number that have 1 side painted. So looking back at the 3 by 3, 1 side painted is the very center of each side. See, this one here has just the very center of the blue side has 1 side painted blue. The very center of the yellow side has 1 side painted yellow. The very center of the red side has 1 side painted red. So every side, and there are 6 sides, have 1 side painted 1 color. So 6 cubes have 1 side painted. So you could figure that one out. That's a lot easier than the 2 sides painted. Let's go to 0 side painted. And when you think about this cube, you have 3 here. See, they're all visible. These 3 are all visible. These 3 are all visible. These 3 are, these 3 are. But let's go to the middle. What I mean here is the middle of a row, middle column, and middle depth. Right here in this middle column, if you go across, there's 3 cubes in this middle column. 1 right here that I would see, and 1 in the back that I would see, but there's 1 in the dead middle. So there's 1 cube that's in the very middle of this, which has no side painted. So there is 1 with no side painted. And you might have to look at this a while before you realize that there's 1. Now, if you know this one, which is pretty easy, and you know the number of cubes that have one side painted and the number of cubes that have 0 sides painted, we could add those up. 8 plus 6 is 14, plus 1 more is 15. Subtracting that from the 27 total gives us that this side has to be 12. And that's the one that you're most likely to mess up on, is the one with 2 sides painted. So now let's look at the 4x4. Now I have a 4x4 here too to help point these out, but it's still very hard to see this. So let's go with the number of sides painted. 3 sides painted. How many of these cubes on a 4x4x4 have 3 sides painted? Well, first of all, the total number of cubes on a 4x4x4 is going to be 64 cubes. 4 cubed, 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. So there's 64 cubes here, and there's 64 cubes here on this one. So we can look at both. How many have 3 sides painted? Well, again, it's just the corners. Each corner has 3 sides painted, and it remains that there are 8 corners, the top 4 and the bottom 4. Let's go down to, let's skip the 2 a second. That might be difficult. Let's go to the 1 side painted. Okay, let's go to this one. 1 side painted. Well, you can see all 4 of these have 1 side painted. That's just like right here, all 4 of these have 1 side painted. And it's true on the other side too. All 4 of these have 1 side painted, and all 6 sides have 4 painted, just one color. Okay, so 6 times 4 is 24. 6 sides in which 4 are only painted 1 color. 6 times 4 is 24. Now, let's go to this, the dead middle of this thing. In the dead middle of a 4x4, well, look, this one moves. You see this one, this row here, this whole bit you see. This whole bit here in the back, this whole face, you see the 4x4 right here in the back. This one you see everything of, and this one you see everything of. Okay, the bottom and the top, you see it. It's not hid. Not every side of it is hid. Some of it is, but not every side. Now, so that only leaves the middle rows of 4 right here. These 4 rows of 4. Now, these front ones you can see, and the back ones you would be able to see if you just turn the cube around. Same way with these here and those there, and in the back side, left side. So the only thing that remains is a 2x2 by 2 in the middle. So again, on this, you see that all these are visible, all these. So we're only worried about this inner bit here. Now, how far back do I go until I don't see them? Well, right behind here is 2 rows and 2 columns and 2 rows high of cubes that you can't see, that aren't colored at all. So on a 4x4x4, there are 2 times 2 times 2, in other words, 8 blocks that are hid in the middle. See, the right and the left spin, that leaves you 2. The top and the bottom spin, that leaves you 2. And then the front and the back spin, but that leaves you 2 in the middle. So you have a 2x2x2 in the middle. In other words, 8 cubes that you don't see. Now, I'll show you about the 2 sides, but again, that's hard. And again, we could figure it out by adding up the ones that we know, the 8, the 24, and the 8. If you add that up, you get 40. We know there's 64 total, and 64 minus 40 leaves 24 that have 2 sides painted. Now I'll show you the 2 sides painted. We can show you here on this. This one has 2 sides painted, green and white. Same with this one, green and white. We can go down here, red and white, red and white. Down here, whatever the bottom color is in white, and again, bottom color in white. Over here, left color in white, left color in white. So counting around, you got 2, 4, 6, 8. So I'll show you that on this right here. So showing you the exact same thing. We have 2 colors right here, 2 colors right here, 2 colors. It's the middle 2 on the top row. Then over here, 2 colors. Down here, 2 colors. And over here, 2 colors. So 2, 4, 6, 8. Now going on to other sides, you have to make sure you don't get recounted. So if we got 2, 4, 6, 8. Over here, see, we already counted this one. We got 10, 12, 14. Left side, 16, 18, 20. And then back here, 22. And at the bottom, 24. You can think your way through it. And if you keep visualizing it and rotate it around, we might even be able to find a rotatable 2x2 or find pictures of these being colored. Then you can get that there's 24 there. Now what we're looking for is a pattern. So if we go to this chart I made, the size of the cube and the total number of cubes, then a number with 3 sides, number with 2 sides painted, 1 side, 0 side. So on a 2x2x2, we don't get much. There's 8 cubes, and all 8 of the cubes have 3 sides painted. On a 3x3x3, there's 27 cubes total. And all I did was take our results from up here on the 3x3. This is our results for the 3x3, and I just put them in this table here. So when you say on a 3x3x3, there are 8 cubes that have 3 sides painted, 12 cubes that have 2 sides painted, 6 cubes that have 1 side painted, and 1 cube in the middle that's not painted. Then on the 4x4x4 that we just went over, again, there's 8 corners. So 8 have 3 sides painted, 24 have 2 sides painted, 24 have 1 side painted, and 8 have no sides painted. That's this chart that we made right here. But now we're looking for patterns going down. So if we go up to a 5x5, we don't want to count up all these things. You can, but you can see how hard it was with the 3x3 and the 4x4 to do it. So can we get a pattern going down? Well, there's 125 total cubes on a 5x5x5. Again, it's only the corners that have 3 colors. So we're talking about like this one, this one, this one in the back, this one on the right. So 4 on the top and 4 on the bottom, 8 sides. So now, instead of dealing with the sides, can we think of a pattern that goes on here? Well, with this one, we can try it out and see what you see. Well, you might see like 12, 24, going up by units of 12 probably. So this might go up to 36. We can check it at the end and kind of double check with the cube. We also can double check that these add up. Do these add up to 125? Just like these, the 8, 24, 24, and 8 adds up to the 64. These right here should add up to 125. Let's go to this number with 0 cubes painted. Well, here is 1, here is 8. Well, there's something special about 1 and 8. 1 is equal to 1 raised to the 3rd power. 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. 8 is equal to 2 to the 3rd power. So a guess might be that the number of inner blocks that have 0 sides painted would be 2 to the would be 3 to the 3rd power. Let me type it again. 3 to the 3rd power. And 3 to the 3rd power is 27. So we're going up, we're cubing the integers. 1 cubed is 1. The next integer is 2. Next whole number is 2. 2 cubed is 3. 2 cubed is 8. Then 3 cubed is 27. So it's going up cubes. 1 cubed, 2 cubed, 3 cubed. And you could confirm that because when you look at this 5x5, how many are in the middle? 3. See, there's a left, there's a right, but since there's a row of 5, there's 3 in the middle. Just like in depth, there's 3 in the middle. And just like in the width here, there's 3 in the middle. So you have 3 by 3 by 3 in the dead middle of this thing. Just like up here, there's 2 on the 4 by 4 by 4. There's 2 in the middle here, 2 in the middle here, and 2 in the middle here. So the dead middle is going to be a 2 by 2 by 2. So that's the pattern here. Now, to get the pattern with the number of cubes that have 1 side painted is like 6, 24, I mean, what's going on here? I know 24 is 4 times bigger than 6. Yeah, but 4 times bigger than 24 would take me way too big. It would add up to more than 125. So let's see how we got the 24. Number of sides painted with one side painted on a 4x4x4. Okay, so what we did is see we have with one side painted, it's like these four right here. So there was 4, and then there was 6 sides. So what we had was 4. The way we got that 24 was 4. The 4 in the middle on a side have one side painted, and there are 6 sides. 4 times 6. That's how we got the 24. How do we get the 6 right here back on the 3x3? Well, let's take a look at the 3x3. And the way we got one side painted is it's the 1 in the middle. There's 1 in the middle, and there's 6 sides. That was 6 times 1. So that came from doing 1 times 6. There's 1 in the middle, and there's 6 sides. So this all has to do with times 6. So this one is going to be something, whatever that number is, it's going to be from some number times 6. So what number gets multiplied by 6? Well, it's the amount in the middle. So there was 1 in the middle on a 3x3, 2 in the middle on a 4x4. So let me write this as being 2 squared. 4 is 2 squared. And 1 is really 1 squared. 1 squared is 1. 1 times 6 is 6. 2 squared is 4. 4 times 6 is 24. So what's going on with the, here, I'll show that again. Here's the 2 squared. It's a 2x2. 2 squared, that's 4. And there was 6 sides. Now look at the 5x5. In the middle, not on the edges, you have a 3x3 right in here in the middle, a 3x3. So it's 3 times 3 that have one side painted, and we have 6 sides like this. So on the 5x5, it's going to be 3 squared, in other words, 9 times the 6. And 3 squared is 9. 9 times 6 is 54. Now we can check this. Is 27 plus 54 plus 36 plus 8, does that give you the 125 cubes that we're talking about? Well, 8, let's just check it here. 8 plus 36 is 44, plus 54 is 98, and 98 plus 27 is 125. So that's our answers. Throw up to a 5x5x5. And then with this information, you should be able to answer the questions on the homework that are based on these type of patterns here. So I'll stop that video right at this point.